annual New Hampshire Student Intern reception here at Eagle Court Deli. Peter, thank you as always for hosting us here. And this program has been going since my very first term in 1977. And hanging around. We've sworn in tomorrow with my 9th governor and 33 and 34 years as a member of the 5-member New Hampshire Executive Council. There's 5 of us over there. We serve districts, and my district, as you know, has been the Northern District. 98 towns, 4 cities, and spread across the 5 northern counties of the state of New Hampshire, that's the land I love and the land that I love to represent. The 250,000 people, I consider them customers, clients, and maybe every 2 years in September and November, hopefully enough friends to get me back so I can appear tomorrow in the House of Representatives to take the oath of office, Article 82 of the Constitution. This little reception helps the student interns. They get $100 when they start and $100 when they end, and any expenses they have going to meetings in connection with their internship. Now, over the years, some of the early interns, I'm looking at Craig Downing and Bruce Berkey, they sort of put in for retroactive because back in those days we didn't have this program, as I recall. But in any event, there have been many student interns that I'm very proud and honored to know them as, first of all, people who are interested in their community, their profession, and their political lives, their government lives. And as I mentioned, Bruce Berkey and Craig Downing, Jimmy Martin from UNH, I think he's left. He worked for Congressman Bass. Boy, I'll tell you, if he knew where something was in that federal budget, he could find it for you. But now he's over to Environmental Services, working for Tom Burak and his people over there. Mark Sandlin, UNH, is helping out with the program this evening. Thank you, Mark, and all that you're doing. Megan McPherson. And Megan, I always find, in any gathering that I appear and I can get the floor, I always introduce interns who take the time to show up. And Megan, would you represent the student interns this evening, if you'd be so kind?
Okay.
Megan, great individual. UNH, went to Washington and is now back and working in state government. Megan.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Ray asked me to speak a couple minutes ago, so just go with me on this. But as Ray would do. But I was an intern 9 years ago while I was at UNH. I had a wonderful time, and I think a lot of us can relate to the intern to-do drawer and the intern done drawer and moving things and cryptic handwriting that only a doctor could have. But what Ray taught me is he was the personification of all politics is local. And he showed you that it meant to care about the people of his district and their lives and their families and their pets. He knows it all. And so it's a wonderful program. I thank you for supporting it. 9 years later, I now work at the Office of Energy and Planning and State Service, and I couldn't be happier. That's what I always wanted to do. So, thanks.
Good evening. In terms of showing up here, Ben Kane, Plymouth State. Ben, it's always good to see you, and working in one of the state agencies. And I can tell you something, these people get these jobs on their own. As a matter of fact, it may not lift their boat too high if they say, well, I work for Ray Burton. Let me tell you, in a 2-year term, I cast 5,000 votes. And as we know, in public office and public life, people remember the negatives more than they remember the positives. But that goes with the business, and I welcome that. Ben, it's good to see you. Trevor Chandler, by gosh, again, Plymouth State. He's had a great career in public office and public life. And then, of course, there's Luke Krause. Luke is, he's the man to see tonight. Luke, American University, he and his lady friend Caroline came up and helped in a Republican booth up at North Haverhill Fair. And now, if you want to get involved in the presidential campaign, this is the man to see, along with Bruce Berkey. They're working for the Plenty political committee. And with Luke's pull, by gosh, last fall, Luke convinced a fellow by the name of Plenty to come all the way from Wisconsin to Whitefield, New Hampshire to speak at a party for me. And so Luke Krause has got some pull. So, oh, there's wonderful stories with these people. Now, another person that I want to introduce, and this is the incoming student intern, and that's Nick Casali. Nick, I want you and your friend Jessica to come right up here. These are Plymouth State University people, and Nick, as a matter of fact, Nick and Jessica were up to meet Governor Plenty that night up at Mountain View and had a great time. Nick is coming in, starts the end of the month, along with Susan Conley, again a Plymouth State person. And without going any further, I want to make note of one fellow by the name of Steve Barber, the man to see at Plymouth State, right along with Mary, Sarah Jane, and other folks representing my alma mater, and that's Plymouth State University. Nick, there's a lot to do in the intern to-do drawer.
Yes, there is.
So, but I can tell you that this program and my service to the Northern Council District would not be possible without the support and the help of the dozens of commissioners that go through Governor and Council. Tonight, I always like to invite somebody from the field of education, higher education, here to just touch upon intern programs and their values, because Nick is going to earn 3 credits or 6 credits? 6 credits as authorized by his professor up at Plymouth State. I just open the door and they come in and do the follow-up in the work, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome to the state of New Hampshire and the university system the new president of Granite State College. Granite State College across New Hampshire has about 3,500 adult learners who are experiencing experiential programs, intern programs all over, not just in one spot. But Todd Leach was delighted when I said, Todd, would you be willing to share a few words on your life and your work as a leader in our educational community? Give a good hand to President Todd Leach at Granite State.
Stress a few words, and as I walked around and talked to some people here, they also stressed a few words. So I think having been a professor for 10 years, probably you get a bad reputation for wanting to talk a little too much. But I do want to, first of all, on behalf of all of the New Hampshire colleges, thank and appreciate the work that Councilor Raymond Burton has done with our students and our institutions. Internships are extremely important to the learning experience. And my past life prior to New Hampshire, 6 months ago, I was at Northeastern University. I was at Northeastern University for 14 years. And as you know, Northeastern is famous for its co-ops and how they help students prepare for the workforce and get jobs. At one time in Boston, it was pretty well known that there were many of the larger companies that would only hire students from MIT or Northeastern. The MIT, obviously, were MIT grads. But for the Northeastern students, they knew they had experience, they knew they could hit the ground running, and that's the power of an internship. You know, Northeastern no longer really has an exclusive on that, thanks to the many people who have put themselves out there to work with interns, to be available for interns, and to start programs like this. So for our students, it's really a critical moment for them. As a past faculty member, I like to think that they do the most learning in the classroom. You know that they learn good and bad things outside of the classroom, and having run internship programs for over 10 years, I know that the experience they get actually seeing things in practice is probably the most valuable thing they end up walking away with, at least that piece of things that connects everything together. So the theories they learn in class, the things they hear, the reality of what they see. And what's nice about being an intern, for those of you who are here as interns, is it's a safe position to be in, to be able to ask questions, to be able to say, okay, how does this work? Because those people who are helping to mentor you and providing those internship experiences, no, you don't have a hidden work agenda there. You're not looking for a raise or something else, maybe increasing that $100 amount a little bit, it's not going to go too far. So it's a safe conversation, and those who are really helping to provide those internships are more inclined to really help you learn the ropes, learn what you can learn from that experience. So my advice to you, for those of you who are students here, or for those of you who have just left your internship position looking at your first job, one of those is to ask questions, ask the whys, understand how things work, and try to get below the surface. I've been at Granite State College now for 6 months, driving my staff absolutely crazy, because I asked them why about everything. They finally learned you don't say that's the way we've always done it. So I looked at our application form as just an example. It was a 5-page application for an open admission program. Why would we have 5? Well, these questions are questions the Chancellor wanted. All right, well, the Chancellor at McKay wants these questions in there. Well, oh, no, not Ed. The Chancellor 20 years ago. You have to ask these kinds of questions and try to figure out what really makes sense. Why are we doing it? Is it practice? Is it policy? Does it make sense today? Does it make sense tomorrow? And I encourage you to do that on your internship, but as well in your career also. I also encourage you to be visible. Be seen, be there. Those interns who are here, this is a great experience. Walk around, get to meet some of the people who are here. I look at Ray's schedule, his calendar every week. I get a copy of it. I don't know, he must meet half of the state of New Hampshire every 3 days or so. So he's out there, he's visible, people know who he is. You see how connected he is with the population. I hear lots of just great and wonderful work, things that Ray has done and contributions he's made. Because he's there, he's visible, people know who he is, they count on him, they call him because they know who he is. Don't always just aim. One of the things we're notorious for in higher ed is ready, aim, keep evaluating, evaluate some more. You have to pull the trigger sometimes, take a risk, make something happen, make a decision on it. One of the things that I found, I'll just use another example from my 6 months at Granite State, was we had an application fee for graduates of community colleges. And I saw ourselves positioned as being really the preferred route for community college students to continue on and get their bachelor's degree. And I asked, okay, why do we have this fee here? Why do we have an application fee for students who are graduating from New Hampshire Community College? That's the way it's always been, was the first answer. The second was, well, we're waiting to see what the other colleges do about that. No, we just make our own decision. We're going to eliminate that. We're not going to have that fee any longer. And just pull the trigger and make the decision. And it was a decision that cost money, but sometimes you have to do the right thing. And that's the last piece of advice I'd like to give those of you who are interns or starting out in your careers, is that to be a leader, to really have people willing to follow you and want to really give you their all, they have to see you taking the higher ground. They have to see you doing the right thing, making the right decisions that are going to be positive for the organization itself, and not as being ill-advised, or not by moving for one's own benefit, but for the organization as a whole. And sometimes that means making some tough decisions that aren't popular. So I think if people understand what those decisions are being made for, they understand that you're doing this for the organization, then you're more likely to keep those individuals following.
Thank you all very much for attending this and the support of this program. The $25 or whatever goes right up to Plymouth State. Plymouth State early on in 1977 was kind enough to set up this line in the student accounting office to process the money as it comes in and to pay it out as the student interns are authorized to do so. Thank you all so much for coming and supporting this program. Thanks.